Good afternoon, students. Welcome to our music lesson. Today, I want us to look at describing the compound time signatures. And this is a continuation of what we did on the last lesson. That is compound time signatures. And students, you are very free to take short notes. You can even pause and then you take the short notes that I'm writing on the whiteboard. Okay, before we look at describing the compound time, I want us to remind ourselves what we did last time. And last week, we talked about the differences between simple time and compound time. And then we said one of the major difference is that in simple time, the notes are just plain, like a crochet, a minim, a quiver. This is simple time. And in compound time, students, we said that the main note is always dotted. That is, you can have a dotted crochet, a dotted minim, a dotted. So there we have a quiver, a dotted quiver. Now, another difference that we noted down is that these notes here, in simple time, the main note divides itself into two. This one, for example, dividing itself into two quavers. And in compound time, the main note divides itself into three. Students, remember the dot here is a half of the crochet. So a half of the crochet is the quiver. And this one makes, the crochet has two quavers. So, for example, a dotted crochet has 3 quavers. Now, today I want us to look at how to describe the time signatures, that is compound time signatures. Remember, we have duple, triple, and quadruple in both simple time and compound time. So we are going to begin with compound duple time. Compound duple time. And the first one I want us to look at, it is 6/4. Now, 6/4, for you to describe using words, you can't say that these are 6 crochet beats in every bar. No. Remember, as I told you, in compound time, the main beat is done what? Is dotted. The main beat is dotted. Now, so when you are describing, you must say with a dotted, either dotted minim, dotted crochet, dotted quiver, like that. So for us to describe this, I want us to also, for example, when you have, for example, 2 minims in every bar, that is in simple time, we call it 2/2. But in compound time, we said we divide, we have 2 dotted notes in every bar. And this one, when you break them down into 3, you have 3 crochets here and 3 crochets here. So if you can remember very well, we say that this one, we call it 6, because the top number tells us the number of beats in every bar. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the bottom number is what? These are what? These are crochets. And as I told you earlier, that a minim is a half note. So 2 stands for the minim. When you have 4 here, stands for a quarter note. That is a crochet. When you have 8 here, stands for a quiver note. So I want us to look at how to describe. So class, you have to, first of all, divide the top number by 3 and the bottom number by 2. Remember our formula. If you have 2 dotted crochets, these 2 dotted crochets, each has 3 for us to have the top number. So for us to describe it, we are going to divide so that we can go back. We see how many dotted notes are there. So class, here, you have to put the formula here That is, you divide the top number by 3, the bottom number by 2, and the answer here is what? 6 divided by 3, that is 2, and 4 divided by 2 is 2, and remember to put your dot there. So the first way to describe this one, A will be 2 dotted minim bits in every bar. So that is one way. And the second way of doing this is now saying that 2 stands for duple. So this is compound duple with a dotted crochet. Sorry, this was a minim. So it is not a crochet. So a dotted minim bit. If you can remember here, these are 2 dotted minim bits in every bar. So the first way is 2 dotted minims. The way it is 2 dotted minims in every bar. And then compound duple time with a dotted minim bit. I want us to look at another example. I believe you have noted this down. The second one I need us to look at is 6, 8. 6, 8. So 6, 8, for us to know what kind of notes are here, we have to divide the top number by 3 and then the bottom number by 2. So here you get that this is 2, and down here you get it is 4, and remember it is dotted so that you don't forget. You have to put this dot here so that class, you don't write 2 crochet bits in every bar. You remember that these are 2 dotted crochet bits in every bar. So the first way of describing this one is 2 dotted crochet bits in every bar. So the second way is compound duple. Remember we say that if the top number is not 2 or 3 or 4, then that time is compound time. So this one is compound duple because the top number is 2 with a dotted crochet bit. So class, you note this one down also as an example. Let us try to look another example in maybe in compound triple before I give you an exercise. Now, in compound triple, remember we said, let me write it here, class. We said, for example, if you take 3 dotted crochet bits, because they have to be 3 dotted bits. So this one will give us 3, this one will give us 3 quavers, and this one will give us 3 quavers. So in total, there are how many? 9 quavers. And quavers, remember here I told you that that a quiver, the other name for a quiver is an eighth note. So we take 8 to represent a quiver. So those are 9, 8. In other words, you have three dotted knots, and each is going to divide itself into 3 equal knots, and in total in that bar you'll get 9. So at the top, 9 represents triple. So if you have 9, 8 class, what you are going to do, you remember our formulas, boys and girls? We were supposed to write 3 and 2. You divide, and then here you are going to get 3, meaning it is triple, and here down it is 4, and don't forget the dot. So here the first way, it is one way is 3 dotted crochet beads in every bar. And the other way will be compound triple time with a dotted crochet bead. Now the last example we are going to look at is in quadruple time. So in quadruple we are going to add 4, 1 dotted crochet to make it 4. So class, we are going to add a 3 there. So 3 plus 3, that is 6, plus 3, 9, plus 3, that is 12. So when you see the top number as 12, then you should immediately know that time is in quadruple time. So for example, if I can take 12, 8, for me to describe in words, first of all, I must divide the top number by 3 and the bottom number by 2, so that here I have my 4 and here I have 4, and don't forget the dot to remind you that this is a dotted knot. Now, the first way will be compound. Sorry, let me start with 4 crochet beads, 4 dotted crochet beads in every bar. Another way will be 4 to stand for quadruple. So this is compound quadruple time with a dotted crochet bead. So, and again, don't forget the word dotted. Now, boys and girls, you can pause the video as you write the notes, and finally I'm going to leave you with an exercise, and an exercise that you will do for me, an exercise. So one, you are going to describe in words, that is in 2 ways, describe in 2 ways. So the first one you're going to do for me is 6, 16. Then you do for me 9, 4. Then you do for me 12, 4. And then 12, 16. So you ensure that you describe in 2 ways. Until next week, bye-bye. Take care. Be safe.